When the strange and horrific intrude on our lives, it can be hard to convince anyone that they really happened. It used to be that the worst things that would happen in a person's life would stay private, things known only by a small group of friends, or, if the stories spread, urban legends that no one knew whether to believe. But today, it's different. Since the invention of the internet, pictures and movies of strange and terrifying things have been going up online. In today's video, we will look at the 5 most creepy stories posted on the internet. A Reddit user posted a seemingly innocuous question on a Houston subreddit. He and some colleagues had stayed at the Hotel Zaza, he explained, and after seeing his colleague's room was different from his, he wanted to know, what's up with room 322? Room 322 was beyond strange. In an otherwise ritzy hotel, this room had a hard concrete floor, and its bed had chains. The walls were decorated with skulls and eerie paintings of monstrous, deformed people. One showed 2 twin girls with giraffe-like necks, conjoined by the hair. And then, in the midst of the chaos, there was a strangely innocuous photograph of a smiling middle-aged man, Stanford Financial Group President Jay Como. Most troubling of all, the room was small, 1/3 the size of a normal room. The rest of the room was blocked off by a brick wall with what appeared to be a one-way mirror. The other 2/3 of the room, it seemed, were on the other side of the wall, a place where people could peer in and watch whatever it was that happened in room 322. When Joe's colleague asked the staff about his room, he was told it wasn't meant to be booked and was quickly moved into another. Hotel Zaza changed their tune, however, when the story went viral. Now they insisted that this was one of their room's kooky themes, modeled after a jail cell. Their other theme rooms, though, were luxurious places with chandeliers and couches. Room 322 was the only one with skulls and a concrete floor. And why was Jay Como looking over it all? A reporter asked the hotel. Their staff, he said, sounded nervous and would only reply, I need to look into that a little bit further. On November 29, 2011, a 4chan user posted a picture of Emily Sander, a girl who had gone missing 6 days earlier. Next to the picture, he wrote one short sentence. If anyone can correctly guess their own post number, I will tell you where she is buried. When somebody did, the user posted the coordinates. They pointed to a place on the side of a county road 80 kilometers east of El Dorado, Kansas. It was the exact place where the police found Sander's body, 1 hour and 10 minutes after the post was made. Sander, it turned out, had been driven out into the wilderness and dumped on the side of the road. The police soon charged Israel Morales with the crime. He'd fled to Mexico after Sander's death and had hidden a bloody knife at his girlfriend's grandmother's home. Morales and the police have never mentioned the post on 4chan, but somebody, whether it was Morales or someone who'd simply stumbled upon her body, knew where Sander was buried before the police did, and they might hold the secret to a missing piece of the story. A single mother posted on Reddit that she'd been using the Sleep as Android app to help her get a more restful sleep. She'd turn on a feature that would start recording whenever it heard nighttime noises, wanting to see if she was talking in her sleep or if she had sleep apnea. But instead, she reported in her post, she'd heard something she could never have expected. The only other person in her house had been her 3-year-old son, but the app had turned on at 2:04 a.m., picking up strange noises that sounded like someone was rustling through her things. She heard herself in the recording groggily asking, still asleep, "What are you doing?" And then she heard a man reply, "Nothing."
What are you doing? Oh.
It wasn't her voice. It was a deep, distinctly male voice. She put up the recording and the data from the app, hoping someone would have an explanation, but nobody could give her any other than the obvious. Someone had been in her house. They hadn't taken anything, though. Nothing was stolen. They'd just rustled through and left. She kept using the app, and though she never heard the voice again, it did pick up the strange rustling noise 2 more times. In the end, seeing no other choice, the woman and her son moved out. Only then did the rustling noises stop. The Hole is the Church of Scientology's prison compound. It's a place that's at the center of the church's most notorious stories. There are rumors of people being brainwashed inside, and that might be just what happened to one Reddit user. On a post showing the bladed fence around the prison compound, Reddit user eagerly commented that this was his hometown. He wasn't afraid, he boasted, to try to sneak in. He wrote, "Give me an address and I'll GoPro the S out of this place." A few hours later, he added a picture showing himself climbing over the fence to prove that he'd gone through with it. More updates, he promised, would follow. Soon, he would give the internet a first-hand glimpse of what was inside the hole. But the pictures never came. Instead, less than half an hour later, his post had been edited so that now it simply read, "I apologize if I have offended any specific community. Trespassing is never funny, nor should it be considered a hobby." And shortly after, he started deleting every post he'd ever made. Nobody knows for sure if this was some elaborate joke or if he'd been caught and forced into silence. But he definitely climbed the fence, and whatever pictures he took on the other side never saw the light of day. On the deep web, the part of the internet that can't be accessed by search engines, someone found a strange video game called Sad Satan. It had been put up anonymously, and it was a strange, creepy game. But this was something more than just an eerie survival horror game. The game had players wander through a blurry black and white hallway while, over top, weird backward recordings of a child's voice played. For the most part, the whole game was just senseless wandering, but strange things kept popping up. Children would walk through the maze and strange pictures would flash up. One, for example, showing Jimmy Savile, a notorious sexual predator. The game became popular when a YouTube user showed it, but according to one 4chan user, the version on YouTube hides the truth of the game. "Don't believe that coward," the user wrote. "He did not show you what was truly in this game." Nobody knows for sure who made the game or why it exists. Some say the one on 4chan is the real version of the game. Others say the 4chan user added some content himself. Some say the game was just a hoax made for YouTube hits, and others say it's part of a conspiracy. Whatever it is, though, it's deeply unsettling.